Hello everyone! In this video, we are going to start taking a look at normal models, but without the empirical rule, without the 68, 95, 99, 7 rule. Because with that rule, I could only ask you certain percentages using certain boundaries. What if I wanted more? So today we're going to use a table to find any percentage from any boundary. Well, almost, at least. Almost. So let's take a look at a context we've already done before. How much sleep do teenagers get? We drew this normal model yesterday, so you should have that in your notes. We're just going to do one quick example with it. So we did a lot of questions with this using these boundaries already of the 1.6, the net 0.6, the 2.8, etc., the 5, all that. But what if this question comes up? Studies show that if you get less than 6 hours of sleep, you will have impaired cognitive function. What percentage of teenagers get less than 6 hours of sleep? Well, 6 hours is right here. That's not one of the boundaries I can use with the 68, 95, 99, 7. So what we have to end up doing is we have to use a table of values, like the one you have that you just got today, to look up a whole lot more possibilities. This is a lot more than we could ever memorize ourselves. But there's another problem. That worksheet doesn't know anything about sleep and teenagers, right? It doesn't, and later on, it doesn't know anything about our second example, SAT scores. So I can't look up the 6 on that chart because that chart doesn't know anything about sleep. And so what we have to do is standardize this scale. All right, we have to have a standardized scale. So imagine drawing another axis down here, another scale, and we've done this before. And instead of 5 hours of sleep, which is the average, that's the middle, we're going to call that 0. And then if I go out 1 standard deviation, that'll be a 1. 2 standard deviations will be 2. 3 standard deviations will be 3. And then -1, -2, -3. These are measured in standard deviations. These are z-scores. And so what we will do is we will figure out where is 6 on the z-score axis, and the z-scores have no units. It doesn't care if you're talking about sleep with teenagers or SAT scores. Z-scores have no units. And so that is what this table is. This is a table of z-scores and the area to the left and to the right of them. So what we're going to do here is we're going to find the z-score for 6 hours of sleep. Will be 6 minus the average divided by the standard deviation. We'll find that z-score and look it up on our table. All right, so let's see. 6 minus 5 is 1 divided by 2.2 is equal to, let me pull up my calculator. Oops. All right, so here I've got my calculator. 1 divided by 2.2 is 0.454545. 0.45, we'll go 5, round it up 1. All right, so let me draw a picture so you can one more time see what we're doing. We've got this normal model. 0 is in here, and we just found out that 6 hours of sleep is actually 0.45 standard deviations away. And what are the chances of getting less than that? Well, that would be this area right here, the area to the left of that. So we're going to go to our table and see what is the area to the left. How many people are less than that? 0.45. So we go through here. Here are our z-scores. Let me find a highlighter here. So here are our z-scores, right? And we have to find 0.45. Well, 0.4 is right there. And we want the area to the left. And so we are going to take this number. Well, actually, let's try to do a little better. 0.45 is between 0.4 and 0.5. So what is between 65% and 69%? Let me zoom that in there for you. What is that, like maybe 67? Yeah, roughly 67%. All right, so we're going to go between those to 0.67. So we'll come back here, and that area is 0.67. So roughly 67% of teenagers get less than 6 hours, get less than 6 hours of sleep. All right, in a nutshell, that's the total of it there. And now all I can do is make you do a little bit more extra algebra here and there. So let's do a couple more together, and I can send you off to try these on your own. All right, so most people can function well if they get at least 7 hours of sleep. What percent of teenagers get at least 7 hours of sleep? So again, we got our normal model here. I always like to draw a picture. It helps ground me in what we're doing. All right, so 5 is right here in the middle. At least 7 means 7 or more. All right, so that's the area I want. And so I need to find the z-score for 7. So 7 minus 5 divided by 2.2. 7 minus 5. Make sure you hit enter. That's doing the numerator first. Divided by 2.2. 0.91, I guess, but our table can't quite do that much accuracy, but that's okay. And remember, we want area to the right. So I'm going to go to my z-score chart. 0.9 is right here, but this time we wanted area to the right. So I'm going to take this number right there, 0.18. So roughly 18%. So 18% of teenagers get at least 7 hours of sleep. Ooh, not very many of us, huh? Not very many of us. Now, I would be remiss if we didn't go backwards. All right, we got to be able to go backwards. So we've been going from a boundary to a percent. Now, what if I flip the question around? What if I give you the percent and ask for the boundary? So how much sleep do the students in the lowest 10% get? The lowest 10%. All right, those poor souls, they're falling asleep right now. All right, the lowest 10%. So here's my normal. Oh, that's a terrible normal. Please do better than that. All right, let's try it again. Let's try again. It's hard with this little pen. All right, that's as good as I'm doing. All right, the lowest 10% are these people over here. All right, where that area right there is 0.10, 10%. What is the boundary? Right there. All right, well, I'm going to go to the chart first this time. All right, it used to be my last step. Now it's my first step. I need 10, oh, let me think, 10% to the left, right? That is 10% to the left. So I'm going to take a look at these columns right here. Why aren't you drawing for me? Oh, that's the eraser. All right, right here, area to the left, and I have to find 10%. Now, careful. This is not 10%. Everyone's going to make that mistake sometime. You're still a good person. Don't worry about it, all right? Don't worry about it. That's not 10%. That's 1%. I got to keep going. Find 10%. And because it is a common one, a common question, it's right there exactly for us. Negative 1.28 standard deviations below the mean. To help give you some context there. 1.28 standard deviations below the mean. And that's our z-score. Negative 1.28 standard deviations below the mean is equal to, all right, remember, I just found this number. And now we're going to solve for that number. X minus 5 divided by 2.2. And so now we simply solve for x. Multiply by 2.2 on both sides. We've done this before back with z-scores. So this should be home, free, I hope is equal to 2.2 times 1.28, 2.81. Remember that number is negative, right? A positive times a negative. So that will be negative 2.8. Add 5 to both sides. That goes away, and x is equal to 5, and negative 2 make, what is that? 5, 4, 3, 2.2? 2.2 hours. Ouch. Brutal. All right, so that's how you can go backwards. Now, if you feel like you got this, feel free to stop the video and try out the classwork, okay? But if you're still like, Bolt, I want to see a couple more, I'll do one more set of examples here for you, but it is going to be more of the same. There's not too many more curveballs I can throw at you, okay? So if you're good, try the classwork. If not, let's keep going. All right. The average SAT score in 2022 was 1,028 and had a standard deviation of 217 and is approximately normal. Describe the top 10% of scores. This is the 90th percentile, right? If you're in the top 10%, you are in the 90th percentile. So, over here is the top 10%. And if you're in the top 10%, you are beating 90%. And I want to know, what is your score? What is that boundary right there? All right, so I have to go to my z-score chart. And I've got two options. I can look up 90% to the left, or I can look up 10% to the right. They're the same boundary. Okay, so you can choose either one. You're going to go to the same place. All right, let's find 90% to the left. All right, so area left, 90% is right here. 90% to the left, 10% to the right gives us a z-score of 1.28. Hey, that number's familiar. Symmetry, right? It was negative 1.28 down there, and now it's positive 1.28. So that is our z-score. The z-score is 1.28 is equal to our score minus the average divided by 217, the standard deviation. Remember, your z-score, if you can't find it in your notes, is equal to your data point minus the average divided by the standard deviation. All right, this number is on the chart. This number is almost always given, and this number is almost always given. Okay? All right, let's finish this one up. Multiply by 217. Multiply by 217. 1.28 times 217. It's not negative this time, right? So that is a positive 277.7 is equal to x minus 1028. Add to both sides. and x equals 277.7 plus 1028. 1305. All right, I think I had a typo. Not that it's too big of a deal, but I think that was a 7, wasn't it? Ooh, 1305. That is better than I did, that's for sure. Not by a lot, I guess, but definitely better than I did. Alrighty. A college states you need a score of 1100 to be guaranteed admission. What percentile would this put you in? Alright, so they gave us a boundary there. We got our normal model. We know our boundary is 1100. What percentile are you in? Well, your percentile is the number of people, or the percent of people that you beat. How many people did we do better than? Well, that is area left. And so we have to find the area left of 1100. So our z-score will be 1100 minus the average divided by the standard deviation. 1100 minus 1028 divided by 217.33. So a little bit bigger than 0.3. So that's what we're going to go look up on our chart. Remember, the z-score, you got to go to your chart for that. And we're going to look up where is 0.33 and find the area to the left. All right, 0.33. Haven't used that one yet. Let me get rid of some of this. 0.33. And we want the area to the left. So about 60, maybe round that up because it was 0.33, maybe 62%, 63% maybe, somewhere in there is about right. All right. So our percentile would need to be, I just forgot the number, 62-ish, 62nd. All right, we are beating 62% of people. Of other test takers, I guess, right? All right, hopefully you're getting the hang of it there. Try out the classwork. I think this is long enough. I'm at 18 minutes. So if anyone's left, go to that classwork, try those out, use that z-score chart, and we will see how we did on this on Wednesday. Good luck.